Wednesday, November 1st. I'm Rim.
And I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight we review Boku Pataliro.
Let's do this.
And thus a successful Halloween. I neither egged anyone's house, nor was my house egged.
Nor did I toilet paper any houses, and my house was not toilet papered.
Have you ever toilet papered a house?
I toilet papered a tree.
Have you ever egged a house?
No.
Nah, I've never done either.
Oh, okay.
My pranks were always much more insidious, involving butter.
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 Anyway, we didn't get any trick-or-treaters. I don't
Granted,
know if that's because we turned the light off, but also I didn't see any.
I saw a bunch. You see, you weren't out after dark like I was.
I looked out the window a bunch of times.
Where were you going to look? From one side of the house, you see the car dealerships. From the other side of the house, you see the car dealerships. From the other side of the house, you see the forest.
I was looking at the street. If there were trick-or-treaters, they would have been walking down the street.
Which street? They wouldn't have been walking down the street with no houses on it.
No, the street that we live on.
The street that we live on, all the houses are way away from us, and I saw a bunch of trick-or-treaters over there where the houses are. Our house is separate from those houses.
Uh-huh.
In fact, as I was driving in, I saw a bunch of trick-or-treaters, and I thought, I better not just turn the light off. What if they walk over here, and I turn it off as they're halfway over? That'd be the biggest bummer for some little kids ever. Sorry, kids, no Halloween for you. The mean old guy over there turned his light off. He saw you coming.
Yeah.
So I waited, and they never came, and then I turned the light off because I had stuff to do.
Yeah. I don't know. Every year we say we're going to do an awesome Halloween something, and then we don't do shit at all.
What are you talking about? We had the beginning of Season 2 of Geeknights, and we had an interview with Luke Crane.
Yeah, we didn't do that on Halloween.
Yeah.
And the year before that, we just started a brand new podcast. We didn't trick-or-treat or anything.
Well, you know what? What we were planning on doing, the reason we didn't have any other Halloween plans is that way back, Penn Jillette said he was going to do a New York show. So we had pretty much banked on going to that. The show turned into 5 people get to go and have a little party with him. And you had to call in live and do all this stuff.
Talk about shit-talking.
There was no way. Well, the thing is, he didn't technically say there was definitely going to be a show. He just said there's a 99.9% chance there's going to be a show.
Yeah. I noticed how he mentioned it once when he came up with the idea, and then he totally didn't mention it ever again.
Well, by once, he talked about it for half an episode.
Yeah.
And then he suddenly brought it up again the day before Halloween when it was too late.
All right, it's Anime Day, and we got some news about Anime Expo.
Yeah, this is the only anime news out there. We both found it. Scott will use it as his because he said he would, and I didn't care.
It's sort of a little complicated news. Anime Expo put out this press release that has been spreading around various places like sort of a mini wildfire. Anime Expo is that big convention out in California, if you didn't know. Anyway, they have announced that they are going to open the Anime Expo travel store. It says in the press release it will provide discounted airfares, hotels, and auto rentals throughout the U.S. and abroad for travel-hungry fans planning or booking their trips to conventions or personal vacations. So wait. It's a travel store opened up by a convention. Now, when you hear that, like if I told you Otakon opened up a travel store, you would think, they're going to make one easy place to get hotels and transportation to Otakon. Well, this is not a place to get tickets and hotel rooms for Anime Expo. It is a completely generic travel store in every sense of the word.
So a travel agency.
Pretty much. It's just a website that allows you to purchase tickets, rent cars, get hotel rooms anywhere. Basically anywhere, at any time, for any reason, even if it's not anime related. It's just a travel store with an Anime Expo logo on it. That's all it is. It's kind of weird. Now, then I realized when I looked at the URL that the URL they tell you to go to is axtravelstore.com. Yeah, axtravelstore.org. When you actually go there, the URL suddenly becomes travel.ian.com. Well, what's ian.com? The Interactive Affiliate Network, a division of Hotels.com, is a leading provider of affiliate marketing services and has supported the travel affiliate market since '96.
So basically, all they've done is contracted out, gotten a front end for a thing that is kind of related to them, but not really, and there's probably some money changing hands.
Yeah, basically, an affiliate network on the internet is this new semi-popular thing among people trying to make money. And what they do is let's say Newegg wanted to have affiliates, right? Well, Newegg is a store. What they would do is if Newegg wanted to start an affiliate network, they would allow you, Rim, to open up Rim's Computer Shop, a brand new website on the internet that sells computer parts. Really, it's Newegg. It just says Rim's Computer Shop on it, and if you do any business, you get some of the money that Newegg would have made. So all Anime Expo did is try to make money by becoming basically a front end or yet another front end for the interactive affiliate network. And they're passing it off as some sort of special Anime Expo travel store for anime fans. And really it's just, hey, please make your travel arrangements at this slightly shady website so that Anime Expo gets money.
Well, you see, I don't even care about what's actually going on behind the scenes. What I would point out is that it's not at all difficult to prepare your travel arrangements for an anime convention. You call ahead of time. How early you call depends on how big the convention is. You get a hotel room, and then on the day of the con or the day before the con, you drive, fly, or take a train to the city. You check into your hotel room. You might want to pre-register for the con.
Yeah. I mean, this would at least be a little acceptable if there were special discounts for, Anime Expo. But I did a search on their site to get a hotel room for Anime Expo, the next one, and all these hotels were like special deal, special deal. So I searched for a random date to get a hotel room in Buffalo, and everything said special deal, special deal. It's no different. It's just a travel site with the Anime Expo logo on it, and they're passing it off to try to milk anime fans for money who don't know any better.
Oh, well, I don't see anyone intelligent using this sort of thing to get to a con, because anyone who knows what they're doing or has any level of intelligence just reserves a hotel room at the con rate and then pre-registers or doesn't pre-register depending on whether or not they want to pre-register.
You know what I think we should do? Is we should just open up an affiliate, for, our own affiliate, the Geeknights Travel Center. And then we should open up like the Geeknights Newegg affiliate and the Geeknights Everything affiliate. And we buy stuff from ourselves and get a cut. So it's like getting a big-ass sale on everything we buy. We'll get our own hotel rooms through the Geeknights Travel Center.
Well, anyway, speaking of NPR, because I didn't have a segue there, so I thought
that was the craziest thing ever.
I thought I'd just kind of jump in with that.
All right.
There wasn't any other anime news because that stupid travel agency thing was pretty much the only thing out there that you guys would care about. So,
there were some licenses.
Oh, whatever.
Chevalier.
Yeah,
whatever.
Everyone knew Chevalier was going to get licensed. We all know Nana's going to get licensed. It's not a...
Yeah.
But there's been an issue for a long time with XM satellite radio, and Sirius to a degree, with the fact that most people who get it don't have a car that can accept an auxiliary input into the radio. So they end up using a little FM modulator kind of thing, which is basically a tiny FM transmitter that transmits the audio from their Sirius box onto an empty radio station. Then they tune their radio to that.
Some of them also have a wire that is basically mimics the antenna of a radio, the radio antenna, and plugs into the antenna hole.
They're identical.
Yeah.
There's no difference between them, really.
Yeah.
The point is that these things actually tend to be very, very powerful, to the point that if someone drives near them and they're tuned to this station, which should be empty, but they can set it wherever they want, they'll hear Howard Stern instead of whatever radio station they're trying to listen to.
This is very annoying because I had an iTrip. I got rid of my iTrip. I have something much better now that was expensive but worth it. But the iTrip followed the law and was as powerful it was allowed to legally be, and it would get overpowered by XM. So if I was using my iTrip to listen to my iPod and I drove near someone listening to Howard Stern would overpower my iPod and I'd have to pause the podcast.
Now, I note that I've never heard anything other than Howard Stern when this has happened to me in my entire life.
I think one of the only reasons people buy satellite radio is to listen to Howard Stern. I don't think there are really any other satellite. There are very few.
Go to the news, Robin.
Yeah, there are very, very few people who have satellite radio who use it for something other than listening to Howard Stern. At least around here on these roads.
Even when a few times I rode with a coworker for various things I had to do for work, and without fail, if they had satellite radio, they played Howard Stern the whole time we were driving.
Mm-hmm.
But these things are way more powerful than they're legally allowed to be, like blatantly and obviously. And there's been a lot of legal disputes between the radio industry, which is a terrible industry that is on its knees, and the satellite radio industry, which is doing very well, but I'm not particularly a fan of it for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I think the reason they want it to be powerful is twofold. Number one, people driving around will randomly hear Howard Stern and maybe really want to get satellite radio.
I really doubt that was part of the plan.
Yeah, but two, they want satellite radio to sound good. They don't want it to cut in and out, and they don't want people who don't have auxiliary inputs to not be able to get satellite radio. So the solution is to have a really powerful RF coming out of there so that it sounds great, doesn't get interrupted, doesn't make satellite radio look bad, and you can use it in any car.
Now, I had the problem with I didn't have an iTrip. I bought a nice Belkin transmitter, which is still within the law, for my iPod. But what I did is I mounted it to my dashboard, and then I took the antenna off of my car, thus removing all outside interference, and now I get great audio.
Yeah, I should have done that, but I like my little antenna in my car.
See, I don't, and I don't care, because there is nothing on the radio I will ever care to listen to unless the nukes fall and I need to find out how to avoid the radiation.
I will use the radio in my car in very few circumstances, but there are some. For example,
if the nukes fall.
If I'm stuck in a traffic for more than an hour, I got to find out what's up.
You know what I found? If you're stuck in traffic for more than an hour, the traffic news will not help at all. All they'll say is that people are stuck in traffic, or they'll say there was an accident. They'll never give you any useful information.
Or if, I knew there was a big blizzard coming, I can find... Or I used to use it for a school cancellation. If I ever have kids, that's what I'll use the radio for. School cancellation.
We just use the TV or the school's website.
I don't have a TV.
Or the school's website.
Our school didn't have a website.
My high school had a website. There was a number at the school you could call, and they would have a pre-recorded message that either said, there is school today, there is not school today, we are not sure if there is school today.
And if there's a super, super important sporting event.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
But
about
anyway,
it.
the issue here is that regular radio, normal old school broadcast radio, has been suing and trying to stop or get regulations stuck on satellite radio for a long time. They claim that it's unfair that people can say fuck on satellite radio, but they can't say it on their radio, and that is hurting their ratings. So instead of lobbying to be allowed to say the word fuck, they've been instead trying to make it so you can't say fuck on satellite radio and all sorts of crap.
Oh, God.
Now, lately, the first challenge that looks like it's actually going to stick has come from NPR, who has pointed out that all these FM transmitters are in flagrant violation of all sorts of laws.
They are in flagrant violation of all sorts of laws. To that, I must agree.
And furthermore, it particularly affects NPR because NPR stations across the United States tend to be in a certain area of frequencies. The same frequencies that tend to be used the most often by these FM modulators. So NPR tends to be blocked or overshadowed more than anything else.
Well, they do sort of have a case.
Well, no, they have a case against the FM modulator manufacturers, who are usually subcontractors of the satellite radio companies who have nothing directly to do with them.
That's true. It's true.
And also, while I agree with all the claims that NPR is making, I also generally feel that radio, as it is silly, out of date, and dead, and I wouldn't care at all if they freed up that bandwidth over the air for better and greater things.
Oh, I would be so happy if they freed up the bandwidth, because really, you don't need that many radio stations.
Well, not only that, you could need that many radio stations, and I can think of a lot of cool ways to use all that. The problem is, we live near New York City, and there are radio stations that are clear and listenable on every single frequency and subfrequency. If you tune point by point, there's always a station, and almost all of it is playing the same shit music Or
Well,
the
on
same
FM radio, they're all playing the same
well,
shit.
AM
music.
radio, it's Crazy Conspiracy Theory Monday.
Crazy Conspiracy Theory, 2 a.m. Yeah.
And of course, you've got the morning wacky, wavy, inflatable, arm flailing tube man. Crazy radio guy saying crazy stuff. I can't believe he's saying these crazy things on the air, but oh, he can't say fuck.
Yeah, there are really only 2 radio stations that I would even consider listening. Well, maybe 3, because of Penn Radio. If I had the chance, I might listen to Penn Radio.
I
live.
would, except the couple times I did, there were these ads.
Yeah, that's the only reason I want. The other 2 stations I would even consider listening to on the radio, and this is if there was absolutely necessary, or 880, which is pretty much constant monotone news and nothing else.
Yeah, I'm sure our listeners care about the frequency on AM that you listen to that is only available in a small portion of the United States.
880 is in CBS radio in New York is like one of the loudest, most powerful stations in the country.
Yeah, you know what? Most of our listeners probably can't get it.
Probably can't. And 660, which is all the New York sports, all the teams I'm a fan of.
Which,
so.
again, I'm sure no one cares about.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only thing I consider listening to radio stations.
When the CD player in my car started going, I started listening to NPR a lot. And I like NPR. I listen to NPR podcasts almost as much as I listen to any other podcasts. But regardless, we'll see where this goes. I kind of hope that radio just loses at every turn and eventually gets dismantled.
I kind of hope they both lose. Like, I want them to have to make RF modulators that follow the law, but at the same time, I don't know if I like that law.
Well, the RF modulator
Maybe it
thing,
shouldn't be illegal to have a powerful RF modulator.
the RF modulator thing is totally moot and doesn't matter at all because modern car stereos are just going to come with auxiliary inputs like they should have 10 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know. It all sucks. Go podcasting.
Things of the day.
Oh, man, this is a hilarious video, I gotta tell you.
I got a video that wasn't so hilarious.
No, not hilarious?
Not at all. In fact, it's kind of an offbeat thing of the day here, but it is animated, so I'm going to run with it. You remember The Simpsons every year on Halloween would have the Treehouse of Horror, where they did a kind of a sketch show about Halloween, scary kind of things.
Well, the best Simpsons episode ever is, in fact, a Treehouse of Horror episode.
You want to get sued? That's Willie's time.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the most quotable episode of The Simpsons ever, and I defy anyone to argue otherwise.
No beer, no TV, make Homer something.
Feeling fine. Anyway, now, The Simpsons has been going on for a long time, and I stopped watching it pretty much right after I got to college when I just didn't watch TV anymore since I had too much other fun stuff going on in my life. Didn't even own a TV.
That's also when I stopped watching TV and The Simpsons. I watched The Simpsons right up until the end of high school, and then got to college, didn't watch it anymore. I mean, maybe a few times it would be on, because Simpsons is a popular thing to be on a random TV at college.
Oh, yeah, we would watch Day Killers a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if I was, walking around and The Simpsons were on TV and there was a TV on somewhere at the college, odds are The Simpsons was on it. But I didn't watch TV. I didn't have time to sit there and watch a whole episode, so that was pretty much the end of it for me.
Yeah, now, the Treehouse of Horror was it was the closest thing to religion my family had. We would gather around and watch this thing every year as a family event, because they were always hilarious.
Well, you want to hear something scary? What season of The Simpsons is it?
Why, this is the 17th Treehouse of Horror, which when Scott asked me this question, he said, I got a thing to show you, and he shows me the most recent Treehouse of Horror that was on yesterday, Halloween, which is my thing of the day. I've linked to it. You can watch it on the internet for free.
It's actually some preview copy that wasn't meant, for people, that someone got in trouble probably for sharing this.
Most definitely.
Or someone stole it, which would be okay.
Now, he says to me, how old do you think this is? What season? How old do you think we are? What season was this from? I was like, 17? Out of the blue, and I got it right.
Yeah. I think you saw the Roman numerals.
No, because I was a big Simpsons fan. I watched it from the beginning until I went to college.
Anyway, that's not the important part.
The important part is a lot of people have said that The Simpsons isn't funny anymore and that it's just really kind of lame and poorly written and slow and blah. And I always kind of ignored them because I didn't care and I didn't watch it, and I figured they were just haters. We have a lot of theories as to why a show that once was super popular, like Family Guy, suddenly people don't like it in its modern form.
Yeah, I mean, we hadn't watched The Simpsons, so we couldn't give the real answer. But like at one time, I thought, well, maybe it's just because they've seen those old episodes so many times that they've discovered all the jokes. You know, now when they see a new episode, they don't see all the jokes right away. But as the episode gets old, it sort of gets better over time, like wine does. Well, good wine does.
Yeah, so debatably.
Yeah, we don't actually know the real answer. That was just a hypothesis.
So now, having actually watched a recent episode of The Simpsons, I gotta say, that show shouldn't still be on the air anymore. It's not funny.
No, why
at
is
all.
it still out there? I mean, there was God.
The stories don't go anywhere. They start and they don't finish. It's not even
That
funny.
was there were two problems. Number one is that it was obvious when they were making a joke, but only about 25% of the jokes are funny. Back in the day, The Simpsons' glory, I'd say slightly more than half of the jokes are funny. The second thing, the biggest problem, was that there were 3 short segments because it's a Treehouse of Horror, and none of the segments had resolutions.
They just stopped.
It's like you're watching an episode and they do a joke, they do a joke, they do a joke, they do a joke, and then after one of the jokes, they just randomly it's over and a new one starts.
And the jokes weren't even funny. They were just really forced and bleh.
Well,
Even worse, the third segment was probably the most ham-fisted social commentary I have ever seen.
yeah.
Aliens invade Earth, whatever. And then it cuts to like 3 years later and the aliens are having a rough time. And they say basically, man, it sure was a bad idea to try and occupy these humans. Yeah, hearts and minds, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And,
Now that I think about it, I think someone was trying to be ham-fisted on purpose, thinking that would be funny. But guess what? It wasn't. It was lame. Really lame.
I don't think that they were that smart because all the other jokes were equally ham-fisted.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
But then, not only is it ham-fisted, but the ham fist is holding ham.
How could a ham fist hold ham?
Because
it doesn't have fingers.
Because at the end, it's like,
Little
man,
bacon tentacles holding on to another ham.
they're like, man, this is bad. ... Just like Iraq's gonna be. And
because
then
it was taking place in the olden days.
And then the episode ends, and it was a ham-fisted ham fist,
It was pretty bad.
like two-fisted ham technique.
I mean, it's got to the point where the Simpsons comic books are funnier than the Simpsons cartoon.
And you know what?
I'm using only one episode to judge by.
No, that we're perfectly justified in using one episode.
We are perfectly justified using one episode.
Because it was the Treehouse of Horror, which has always been the pinnacle of The Simpsons.
That's exactly right. I just, I got to point it out.
All right, so let's get off of this. I don't want to sidetrack the show because we got a fucking animator review, I tell you what.
Holy shit, do we have an animator review?
Nishizawa, you're my hero.
Yeah. But first, before we review that anime, I do have a thing of the day that I almost forgot because I was so excited about the anime. I can keep this short. Back in the day, people were stupid. You think people are stupider now? You think people are stupider now than they used to be? You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong, and here's the evidence. This is a video of a Canadian daredevil named like Kenny Powers or something like that. And he tries to jump a car over the St. Lawrence River.
Isn't that over a mile?
It's pretty damn far. Now, not only that, but the car, it's like a jet engine powered, I think he says a Lincoln Continental, I don't remember.
With two little wingalings on it.
With two little wingalings on it.
Not wings. These aren't wings. These are like F1 wingalings. They're like a foot long.
Yeah, now, if you look at the headline of this video, it's exactly what I was thinking before I read the headline. And it says, back before physics existed, daredevils performed any stunt they wanted without knowing any better.
Now, I think we shouldn't ruin what happens. Let's let the listeners see this stunt and see how it unfolds.
Yeah, all I can say is that it's obvious that this stunt is physically impossible. It is not possible to jump a jet-powered car over a mile.
You know what?
You could theoretically turn the car into a plane, in which case you could fly a mile, maybe.
All right, you know what?
What?
I don't think he thought his clever plan all the way through.
Oh! Yeah,
Right.
Didn't any physicist tell this guy what he was doing?
I don't know. If I was
work?
a physicist and a guy was like, I'm going to jump my car. You know what it's like? It's like that Monty Python sketch for the guys like, I'm going to jump the English Channel. And then he goes out and he jumps like 2 feet and lands in the water.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
All right. So, Nobutaka Nishizawa.
Great.
Nobutaka Nishizawa is known for a number of shows that he's directed over the many years, such as Slam Dunk and Mazinger Z, the movie, Dragon Quest, A Crying Freeman.
If I'm not mistaken, Anime World Order refers to him as the Nish.
Nobutaka Nishizawa.
It might be some other niche. It might be some other niche that they call the niche, but I don't know. We'll have to ask them. They'll probably listen to this episode and tell us.
Yeah, though I wonder if they've seen this show.
I do wonder if they've seen this show, because this show, you see shows today, there's a genre of anime that is the crazy, wacky comedy. The Excel Sagas, the Elf Princess Rain, the Galaxy Fraulein Yuna, I don't know, any other ones? Freaking Chromati, all those. This is a really, really old one. Really old.
So the show we're talking about today is called Pataliro.
Pataliro or Pataliro. I think it's kind of weird because in the title, everyone seems to call it Pataliro, Patalliro. But in the show, the character, Pataliro, looks at his watch on his wrist, and in the watch it says Patariro, 2 R's, so Pataliro. I don't know, it's that Japanese LR mix-up that happens all the time.
Now, the premise of this show is that there's a little short son or prince of a dictator of some oppressive country.
Yeah, some Eastern European nation, most likely.
I generally get the North Korea feeling from it, but that's probably just because this is the era I live in.
Yeah.
But imagine that it's like Kim Jong-il as a kid. That's what this show is about. And he goes off on diplomatic missions as a little prince, and hilarity ensues. And by hilarity, I mean horrible pedophilia homosexuality.
A lot of homosexuality going on.
Now anyone who knows us knows that we are in no way offended by homosexuality.
No, we are not.
This show, all right, before we describe the plot, I just want you to go to the link that we have put in the show notes, to the Anime News Network Encyclopedia, and it shows a Bishonen-looking guy about to kiss this girl. Nope. It shows a Bishonen-looking guy about to kiss another Bishonen-looking guy. And the main character, the little Pataliro, seems to also like the guy and or the other guy, and everyone in the show wears mascara, and yet no one in the show is female.
Yeah, let me sum up this plot of the first episode a little bit.
God.
The dictator is coming to France.
I don't remember.
And he's supposed to be on some diplomatic thing or something. The prince is coming to France, not the dictator.
Yeah,
dictator's his dad.
He's the little dictator.
The little dictator is coming to France on some diplomatic mission, but really, he's going to steal a painting because someone lied to him. Well, you don't know about the lie yet. You find out the lie at the end. Big deal.
Yeah, now don't get us wrong. The show's hilarious.
Yeah, it is freaking... Just for the craziness, you're going to laugh.
See, the opening scene is there's all these diplomats and police standing on a runway waiting for a plane to land. The plane's coming in. And after about 30 seconds of this, Scott says, "Oh, this show looks really boring and not at all what I thought." And he's about to turn it off. And then we point out that the plane veers way to the left, and then it cuts to the crowd, and they all turn their head to the left. And then the plane veers way to the right, and the crowd all the way to the right. And then they realize that the plane's coming straight for them, and they panic and run away. And then it cuts to the inside of the plane, and this little dictator is just attacking the pilot for no reason and tickling him or something.
Yeah, it was fucked up. Anyway, he comes to France. He's going to steal a painting. And with the little dictator, he has these onion head guys. The onion head guys are the generic henchmen of the little dictator. They show up whenever he needs henchmen.
Yeah, North Koreans.
They all look the same. There is this guy. I don't know what the guy's name is.
I don't remember anyone's. Was it Bankaran? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No one's names matter. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
There's this.
But dude looks like a lady.
All right, it's this tall, thin Bishonen guy with long black hair who wears eyeliner.
Oh no, that's not the guy I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about the other tall, long-haired guy who wears eyeliner.
Yeah. Well, they all wear eyeliner, even the little dictator.
Yes.
Lots of it.
Now, we're not talking they just look like they have... No, They have eyeliner on. Really poorly done eyeliner.
Yeah, like a whore. Or those girls in that district of Japan.
Now, they call... Well, all right, so the little dictator's sitting there at this table, and he's got this woman, but it's actually a dude, attending to him. And you get the impression almost that there's some kind of romantic tension there, which the tension is explained later as something else. And you wouldn't think it was romantic until you see what follows.
Yeah.
For this other guy who's tall with long black hair and eyeliner comes in, and he's the, Bishonen Killer or something like that?
Yeah, apparently the guy's nickname is Bishonen Killer, and he's like a detective or he's an MI6 agent. He's like James Bond, right?
Yeah, he's going to be a bodyguard for the little dictator while he's in town to prevent a diplomatic incident.
Yeah. But really, he's the Bishonen Killer.
Because apparently young boys fall in love with him in a very homosexual way.
And
because he's not the Bishonen Killer as in I am a Bishonen who kills the ladies. He's the Bishonen Killer as in he causes the Bishonen to go crazy.
Yeah. Even though he's a dude.
And right away, the attendant to the little dictator blushes and gets all meek and totally wants him.
Yeah, the attendant is the first person I was trying to talk about. So
Okay.
It's a dude who looks like a lady who's gets all blushed from a dude who looks like a lady.
This show is the opposite of Brother Dear Brother.
I think it is. Yet, the dudes who look like a lady cannot get together because there's this really annoying little dictator in the way.
Yes, and the little dictator decides... this is where the show goes really off the rocker.
It's just it makes no sense at this
He
point.
needs to steal this painting. So he's planning it, and the bodyguard is like, I know you're planning something. I'm not stupid. I'd better keep an eye on you. The only way to do that is to sleep with you tonight. So they share a bed. And
the little dictator is all like, ooh, I love you, Bishonen Killer.
And he keeps hitting on him.
Even the little dictator's also a dude who doesn't look like a lady, but does wear lots of eyeliner. Yeah.
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 And it goes off from there. The plot doesn't really matter.
Yeah, there's an interesting bit where you see how the little dictator actually pulls off the heist of stealing the painting. But right after that, it's back to the Bishonen action.
Yeah,
and then the episode's over.
You get the sense that the little dictator and this guy are beginning to fall in love.
Which is kind of scary.
It wouldn't be that scary except that the little dictator's like 5.
Yeah, it's like this little tiny kid. Doesn't he have like a pet?
Oh, in the opener, he has this magical cat that we haven't seen really yet.
Yeah, I look at the Anime News Network Encyclopedia entry, and there's only like 7 characters in this show. And considering the little dictator's from a country far away, and the Bishonen Killer is from Britain, I guess, you gotta wonder, how are they gonna physically get back together? Since
we saw the episode 2 thing where apparently the little dictator comes back on another mission because he wants to see this guy again.
Was just gonna constantly keep flying over to Britain and France to see this guy?
You know what? That would probably make more sense than anything else in this godforsaken show.
God damn, this show is crazy.
This show, don't watch it alone. Get a big group of people.
Oh, if you watch this alone, something is wrong with you. You know how I know you're gay? You watch Pataliro alone.
But seriously, get a group of friends and watch this show, especially if you want to have some fun. Get all your friends who like anime, and get that one friend who doesn't like anime, and then corner them and sit down and have a grand old party and watch this show. Because I'd like to see how normal people react to this, because at least having seen a lot of anime and being in that whole anime culture, a show like this is just hilarious.
Huh. I see a story on Anime News Network that was posted in March of 2005.
Wow, a long time ago.
And it says, Maya Mineo, however you say that, Pataliro Sayuki is to be made into a TV series scheduled to air June this year on Kids Station. The manga was previously animated as Boku Pataliro, broadcast on Fuji TV in 82. The one we're talking about is Fuji TV 82. So there might be a newer one that can be seen.
Well, all right, here. How many episodes of this anime do you think there are?
It says right here there are 49.
49.
Oh, I see what happened. The original manga, right, that's the show we're talking about. The original manga was turned into an anime called Boku Pataliro, and it was 49 episodes in 1982. And the genres listed are adventure, comedy, and romance. Pataliro Sayuki is the story of, Sayuki and Goku and all that junk, told with the Pataliro characters.
Oh, yeah, that's where I screwed up, because that's listed here as a link, not as alternative title.
That's a 26-episode show from 2005 of the genres adventure, fantasy, and shonen. I don't know how it's not also comedy.
Well, I guess we'll have to see it.
Yeah.
Since we're reviewing now Boku Pataliro, we'll have to watch Pataliro Sayuki before we can pass judgment.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think it matters.
It really doesn't matter. It's all the same crazy bad shit.
Yeah.
I mean, if they suddenly make Excel Saga Sayuki, I don't think it's going to be that much different.
Now, we could just make fun of the things that go on in this show more, but just watch it, because you can't... Making fun of a show like this is like beating up a dead guy.
Yeah, we'd basically just be repeating ourselves ad infinitum.
Yeah. Now, in terms of everything else, the animation quality is pretty bad.
Well, it's 1982, so for 1982, I'd say this is run-of-the-mill. This is as old as we are, this show.
Yeah, there's a lot of flowers appearing all over the place randomly while pretty boys stand around looking at each other.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of colors. It's pretty much solid colors everywhere. And nothing really moves fluidly. And a lot of things are sometimes drawn in a scary way. Like, I don't want to look at that.
Yeah, it does. You remember on Ren and Stimpy, when you were a kid, watching Ren and Stimpy, the old Ren and Stimpy, when you wasn't allowed to be disgusting, not the new terrible Ren and Stimpy, where suddenly, out of the blue sometimes, he just show this still zoomed-in frame of, like, Ren's pus-filled, oozing sores.
Yeah, and because he couldn't animate, like, a high-definition painting, he would just paint a still frame and then zoom in on it.
This show does that with the little dictator, like, turning his face and his mascara and eyeliner and everything becomes super, super, like, out there. And it's like, I can't describe it. You just got to watch this show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boku Pataliro is a scary, scary show that is hilarious to watch one episode of, and I pity the fool who watches more than one episode.
Maybe if you were drunk and you had a bunch of people at your house and you were looking for something crazy, like, hey, man, check out this crazy shit, yo.
Yeah.
You would show 2 or 3 episodes of Pataliro.
Now, apparently the show was moderately well known, or at least fondly remembered, because when we had the first episode laying around and we started to put it on and asked Emily what it was, and she knew immediately, but she hadn't seen it. So when we told her that it was about what we just said it was about, she kind of flipped, and we still have to show it to her to prove it. I don't think many people we've talked about this show with have actually believed us as to the sheer level of homosexuality and sexual tension that is present between these 3 characters.
Yeah. I don't know any more about the history of the show or the manga or anything like that, but I do know that...
What do you know? You don't know nothing.
I do know that I'm not watching any more of it.
See, here's the thing. I kind of want to watch
Oh, God.
a few more
You know
episodes.
how I know you're gay?
No, here. The reason is that I want to see if the show changes at all or goes in other directions, or if it's just 49 episodes of that.
I imagine there has to be some sort of overarching plot to fill 49 episodes.
I submit to you Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Star.
Yeah, but when you find out why he's trying to steal this painting, I think that's the tiny thing that ties into the other
He's
episodes.
trying to learn about his daddy and where he came from, being a little dictator in some weird country somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's the real plot.
But speaking of Dragon Ball...
you mean the thin plot that ties together a whole shit ton of comedy.
But speaking of Dragon Ball, apparently the episode director of this was none other than Daisuke Nishio, who's responsible for Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball the Movie 1, Dragon Ball the Movie 2, Dragon Ball Z the Movie 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, the Dragon Ball Z Special 1, and the Dragon Ball Z Special 2, in addition to One Piece.
So the guy who did Dragon Ball learned the ropes on Pataliro? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not making any sort of correlation, effect study or anything here. I'm not going to make any claims. I'll just note that this guy worked on more Dragon Ball than he worked on anything else.
Well, I mean, if you work on Dragon Ball, it's hard to have time to work on anything else.
Yeah. So I'm sorry if we didn't review this show to the standard where we normally review shows. The show
It's
is
just kind of hard because the show's whacked out and crazy.
I mean, we watched the whole first episode and immediately forgot every character's name because it totally didn't matter.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else I could say. Just watch this show and tell us what you think about it.
Yeah, I think the main reason we reviewed this show is just to get someone else to watch it, to make sure that we're not insane and hear what someone else has to say.
Yeah, I'd like someone to point out that they're not really homosexual pedophiles. It's actually this blah, 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 some sort of artistic thing that symbolizes the inner struggle between a child looking for a father figure.
No,
and,
it's just a bunch of dudes who look like ladies.
yeah, shooting guns at each other and being all dramatic.
Yeah.
Smoke bombs going off.
Paintings getting stolen, but not Lupin style.
Yeah, but still in a fairly clever way.
Yeah, pretty clever.
And I got to say, I laughed out loud when the little dictator starts running away with that painting.
Yeah, Little Dictator is hilarious because he's little and cartoonish, despite also wearing mascara.
Yeah. This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com, where you'll find show notes, links, our awesome forum, a link to our Frapper map, and links to all the RSS feeds.
We say feeds plural because Geek Nights airs 4 nights a week, covering 4 different brands of geekery. Mondays are science and technology. Tuesdays, we have video games, board games, and RPGs. Wednesdays are anime, manga, comic nights. And Thursdays are the catch-alls for various rants and tomfoolery.
You can send us feedback by email to geeknights@frontrowcrew.com. Or you can send audio feedback via audio. Just click the link that says Send Me an Audio on the right side of our website.
If you like what you hear, you can catch the last 100 episodes in iTunes or in your favorite podcatcher. For the complete archives, visit the website, which has everything.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 2.5 license. This means you can do whatever you want with it as long as you give us credit, don't make money, and share it in kind. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.